What's up, YouTube? It's your boy DUECE back with another episode of the OMC PODCAST. Today I got my guy with me. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
What up? My name is Macfreshly.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Macfreshly is a brand directly out of LA. Fashion designer out of LA. He does a lot of other things. We're gonna get into that right now. So, what inspired the name Macfreshly?
Shit, I got it from my dad. Pass it on. I'm originally Macfreshly Jr.
Okay. Fun fact. And the name that came directly from your pops.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How did that come about?
Shit, my dad, he the one who started the brand and all that shit. Yeah.
So you just like keeping it going.
Yeah.
Oh, that's turned as fuck. I never knew that.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew that. That's turned as fuck. All the research I did, I never knew that. Okay. So, what made you get into fashion specifically?
Shit, that's just been in me since I was born. Like, my dad was the flyest nigga out of everybody in the family. Like, he was the youngest one. So R.I.P. to him. He passed in 2020. So yeah, that's what really made me like really get into that shit. Like, we started that shit in 2013, and I was 13.
Ooh.
And I was just watching him, just how he did that shit, just constantly, how he worked, how he just did the colorways and all that shit. Like, he matched it with every fucking shoe. Like, every Jordan he had, like, he was getting Jordans before they even got released. Like, he was just making clothes with the exact same shoe, like matching them together. Like, I'm like, damn, this nigga fly.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. What's one of the things that you really like about fashion that helps you be able to even keep the business going?
I just been really inspired to just keep that shit going because of him, and because I feel like he passed it on to me. Like, he saw when I was in high school, when I was in 11th grade, he was trying to start another brand named Zane, his middle name. So he was like, he gonna give me that shit, he gonna pass down Macfreshly to me. I was like, all right, bet. So as soon as he said that, like, I was like, I'm gonna come out with 2 colorways and I'm gonna sell that shit at school. I was selling that shit and I was selling out. This nigga was like, damn, nigga, you making money? He was like, let me get some. I was like, damn, all right, you gave me this shit. Like, I'm gonna take the opportunity for real.
Yeah, I feel that. That's that makes your branding just in general even more cooler because it's a pass down. It's not something that you came up with, and it doesn't really take anything from how unique it is in general. It's just like, I'm keeping something going. Like, this is a legacy thing more than it is a brand thing. So it means a lot more to you, and on top of that, it's gonna make what you put out even better quality because you know what it means to you.
Exactly.
So, and that's lovely because you don't got a lot of brands that have like deeper meanings to it like that. A lot of people just like, it's this and it's that, and it just make me feel inspired. Like, no, you really have a real reason to be inspired by the just the name alone in your brand.
Yeah.
So that's big. You mentioned how you seen your dad, you grew up, you seen your dad going downtown, you feel me, matching everything. How do you feel like your childhood played a factor in you wanting to keep the brand going? Because, you know, it's options. You could have definitely took it in a different way because you do multiple things. Like, you could have just picked up the camera, went full time with the camera and called it a day at that.
But see, I felt like that shit, I did the clothing brand before photography, but I also did photography before clothing brand.
Elaborate.
So the clothing brand was in me the whole time I was growing up.
Right.
I picked up the camera in middle school.
On your own type shit.
Yeah,
like, that was something that you just picked up.
Yeah, like, I was really getting interested in that shit, but I had like fell back from that shit because a whole bunch of shit happened in that school. I got kicked out and all that shit. So I was like, I fell back from that shit. Wasn't even really thinking about that shit. I was just trying to get my grades straight, trying to really just graduate type shit. So in the clothing brand, that shit really just came out. My dad just drilled that shit in my head, and I was already like into fashion type shit. Like, I didn't want to be no bummy ass nigga type shit.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah. And that's a staple. Not wanting to look bad, just in general. What's one thing you hate and one thing you love about what you do? And let's start off with running the brand before we get into the camera and then the other stuff. What's one thing you hate and love about running the brand?
Shit.
Start off with the negativity first. Get that out the way.
So what I learned when I first started coming up, I learned like the customers. it's gonna be people who just like fuck with you. There's gonna be people who just waste your time type shit. Like,
yeah. Actually,
I got a lot of people. I got a lot of people that's hit me up type shit, had me make that shit, and then never got that shit. I was like, what the fuck? I even had family do that shit. I'm like, yeah. So that's when I had to start like really slowing that shit down. Have to really get into my business part of mindset, like how to really do shit. Not to say now I'm still learning. Like I'm on a break right now with the clothing brand because my machine fucked up, but I'm gonna get that shit back running. But I'm finding different ways to make better quality type shit than before. Yeah, like I'm trying to come way harder than way before. Like
I feel that.
Yeah, I'm not trying to put on no bullshit.
And that's respected. Always try to better yourself. Never try to keep going with the same formula. If when you see it work, try to better it. Don't always leave it alone. When it comes to photography, what's one thing you love and one thing you hate about that?
Photography, shit. Photography, one thing I hate is just, really not hate, is just how you gotta start off doing shit for free to really get your platform out there.
Yeah.
And really get a name type shit.
And that sucks.
But that shit really, it sucks, but at the same time, I look at it like I get experience from that shit. Like every time I go out and take pictures, like I'm a landscape photographer type shit, like street photographer type shit. Like I do people and all that shit, but I really fell in love with doing nature shit. So,
and you know what's crazy about that? I know another photographer. His name is Nande, and he finds it so hard to take, not hard, but he finds it easier to put a person in a spot where the nature is booming and take pictures like that instead of just taking pictures of the nature. Yeah. And in my head I used to think like, I know it's like so hard to think of like, oh, nature, this is a really nice tree, but sometimes understanding that people actually do have the eye for those kind of things, like, oh, you know what, no, this is really a nice ass tree, like I've never seen a tree like this before type shit. Like,
and that's what I be paying attention to. Like I'm really into all that shit, like animals and all that shit. Like
it's crazy that it's crazy how differently people can see the world, because to me that's just a bush. Yeah, you feel me? But you probably see it's very colorful.
Like I was looking at the shit right there, like I can already picture a picture right now. Like I can see an angle, I can take that shit and make it look nice real quick. See,
and beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. How do you feel you've grown since starting your brand? Well, not since starting it, but since taking over, how do you feel you've grown?
Shit, like what level?
Yeah.
Shit. I feel like I'm up there. I feel like I've grown a lot from when I very first started type shit. Like, it's hard to say. You just gotta really go through that shit.
Yeah.
To really know, but you're gonna go through a lot of ups and downs type shit. But it's a lot more ups. You just gotta weigh that shit out.
Yeah. I feel that. And then with the photography, how do you feel you've grown with that as well? Because again, like you said, you got a good eye. Like I said, pretty much, you got a good eye because you can see stuff that other people ain't gonna be able to see in that tree. So, how do you feel like your eye has developed since picking up the camera for real and then getting out there and really taking pictures and stuff?
Shit, it developed a lot. Shit.
Is it something like you could point out, like specifically that you didn't used to see in your pictures that you see now?
I would say the quality wise. So I was taking like bullshit back then. Like I was just snapping them, really not really going into the depth of my camera, really like seeing the lighting part of that shit. Like I really learned that part. I really learned the editing part of my shit. Like I got my homies, like my cousin, developed Don.
Hey, Don, we gotta get you on here next, bro. I did not forget about you, my nigga. Don't trip, bro. I got you, oh God. You're on the list, gang. Well, I'm sorry I had to cut you off for that, because I had been supposed to get my boy Don on here. He was supposed to be like he was supposed to be a single digit episode. No capping. I'm in the double digits now, so I'm fumbling on that. My bad, Don. My bad, gang.
He gonna get you on here.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you on here for me. Don't trip. My bad for cutting you off. Go ahead.
I want to say he played a big part in my shit, because like I said, I picked that shit up in middle school, but he really inspired me to really pick that shit up again. Like, he opened my eye up for real, and he inspired me still.
Fun fact, you may know this, but you actually took a cover photo for one of the songs that
Yep, with Menelec.
Yep. Oh yeah, and the crazy thing is, this is my first time meeting him.
Man.
That was my first time meeting him. And he took the picture of me and Menelec, like, oh, this shit hard. Like, cause first off, we wasn't even paying attention. I wasn't even paying attention. Like, I wasn't even looking at the shit. Like, I just looked up and he came over and showed me the picture. I'm like, this shit hot. Like, ooh-wee. And then he sent it to me after he developed it and shit. And boom, used that as the cover.
Nice.
So, quick little backstory for y'all. Again, with the camera, one thing I can give you your props on is, because of course I'm gonna do my research before I bring y'all on here. I was looking at your page and I'm like, just even looking at the picture that you took for us and looking at the stuff you do now, I'm pretty sure you think that shit weak.
Nigga.
Yeah, like I'm looking at your shit now like, okay, this nigga definitely came a long way from, and that shit was in what, 21?
Yeah.
2021?
Yeah.
That was in like the summer of 2021. It's 2023 now. He definitely made a very noticeable leap in the quality of his stuff. So that is one thing I can definitely attest to. The quality has definitely went up.
Okay. Appreciate it.
What's a quote that you always carry with you?
Shit. To be honest, I don't even know.
Man, hey, you gonna be the second dude in a row that said I don't have a quote.
I just go off of my shit, like really. I really push. My family play a big part in my shit, really too, because they always tell me don't stop. What I said to you earlier, slow motion better than no motion. Like if you just keep on going, just showing consistency, just even if you're doing bare minimum, at least you're doing something for it.
Facts. Facts.
Don't stop. Like keep
don't
going.
do nothing.
Yeah, don't do nothing. Don't just be sitting around just not doing shit.
Does your brand have a slogan?
Stay freshly.
Stay freshly. Ooh, that's his quote, y'all.
Stay freshly fitted.
Stay freshly fitted. Yeah. That's his quote. So take that away from this episode. Stay freshly fitted.
Every time you see me, I'ma stay. You always see I'm fresh.
Yeah.
In a fresh white tee.
Shop Macfreshly. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
What made you get into photography? I know you mentioned you picked it up in middle school, but what was the drive to make you go, oh, okay, you know what, I'm gonna take this class?
My clothing brand. That's why I said it go hand in hand. Like I didn't want to just pick either or. Like the clothing brand and the photography collide. Like that shit really go together. Like
so you've been business minded since you're young.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to really turn my clothing brand into a corporation type shit. Like it's nothing just a clothing brand. Like I have my own weed packs. Like I did all that shit.
You smoking your pack right now,
man. I do everything like type shit. I'm gonna make that shit a clothing brand. I'm gonna try to sponsor people type shit. Try to do everything. I'm gonna make a little clothing, like golf clothing brand type shit. For my homie golf. Yep, I'm gonna have to sponsor that nigga.
That's what's up. Shit, sponsor OMC. Sponsor the podcast. Shit.
Right.
What made speaking of podcasts, what made you want to get into the podcast lane and start a podcast? Because again, I was talking to my girl and she was like saying like you're not really that talking to the person like so when it does come out, we're going to see a different side of Tyler. Me personally, this pretty much all I know of you, because we always have conversations. You feel me? We always chit chat when we see each other. It's always good vibes. So to me, I'm like, well, I don't really know no other Tyler but the Tyler that I know. So for y'all, it's probably going to be way different. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot different from everybody else too. So what made you want to step out of your comfort zone and get into the podcasting?
Shit, really, that camera really took me out. Because I noticed when I get booked for photography, I'm going to be in a room with a whole bunch of people. I just got booked for a 50th birthday. I was in a room with hundreds of older people, younger people. I'm like, yeah. But I really felt like I fitted and really felt like I was supposed to be there type shit. Like, But I wanted to start the podcast because me and my homie been talking about it back then, like 2021 type. And we just kept on like putting mind to it, like we gotta really do this shit because I got a lot of shit to talk about and he got a lot of shit to talk about. Like I'm 22, but I've been through a lot of shit. Like I started working as soon as I was able to. Like my dad died when I was 20. Like still going through some life shit right now. Family got problems right now. Like it's a lot of shit to talk about and a lot of people that can relate type shit. So it's like might as well just speak about it than keep it in.
Yeah. And that's why I mentioned the other thing that I want to do with this podcast is because it's stuff that I actually do want to talk about, isn't it? And I don't want to keep telling people like, oh, we not going to ever talk about that type of shit on the podcast, or we not going to ever get into talking about how y'all feel about women and how women feel about men and what this thing about life. Like, I do want to end up talking about it, but I just feel like right now is just a good time to push brands, like help everybody get like, oh, I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that. And instead of just having to post it on Instagram when nobody really supporting you, you can get it on YouTube. And these people who coming from my music listen to you, or they coming from another person, seeing another person's interview, and they just fuck with the podcast, watch you now, fucking with you. So I just feel like this is important, but I really do want to get into the lane of being able to really get it off my chest and say shit that I really do want to be talking about on the podcast. So I definitely feel you on that. I really want to get into doing that too. I need a co-host, but you know, I'll figure it out as the time goes on, you know.
You start, but every time you keep doing it, it's gonna progress. Like you gonna grow. People are gonna see that shit too. Like they're gonna see when you grow each video.
And I feel like it's the same process here, you know. Like just being able to come with better questions and being able to have a better presence on the camera just here on this podcast, on this version of the podcast. Man, that version of the podcast is coming soon. Y'all be on the lookout of I don't know what I'm gonna call it yet, but it's gonna be another version of OMC. It's gonna be on this channel too, and it's gonna be dedicated to the other shit that y'all really want to talk about, not just brand work. So be on the lookout for that. That shit is also coming soon. Other than that, if not this, then what? What would you be doing if you weren't trying to push Macfreshly?
So before my dad died, I was pushing the clothing brand and shit still, but that wasn't my main focus. Like I was still trying to, I was going to college, I was going to West LA.
Okay. Shout out West LA.
Yeah. I'm a real art major. Like everything I do is based around art. So when I was going there, I was drawing and shit. I wanted to be an architect type shit. Right. Or an engineer. I wanted to be a game designer, really, like create my own video games and shit. That's what I really wanted to do. Man, and I still do that. I still play video games and all that shit, but that's still gonna be in my mind to do later on. But my clothing brand is my main focus right now.
I feel you. What's something that you learned about yourself since starting your brand? Like, how do you feel like you've been, you noticed a little change in yourself since taking over?
That shit made me a man. That shit, I've been a man. But that shit really showed me what I can really do and what I can really take that shit to. And how many people really fuck with me and really want to invest in me and really want to help me take this shit to another level type shit.
Right.
You know, that shit really opened my eyes and really appreciate the love.
And shit. And that's half the battle right there, is just getting somebody to really fuck with you. And people don't realize that about starting brands or making music or doing whatever you want to do. It's the hardest part is just to get people to be like, you know what, what you're doing is fuck with it, boy. I can rock with that. And then not only that, consistently support. That's another thing. Like, people will support you one day and then think they did enough of supporting forever. Like, you feel me? They think that's the last time they need to support you. This should be enough support to last your lifetime and make you famous. And that's not the case, you feel me? I need your support every time I do something because I don't know what's gonna blow up. But if you get behind it with me, it has a better chance, if not any. So that you already went in half the battle, just understanding that people do want to fuck with you, people do want to invest with you, and just having the people that do want to invest in you,
and that shit
half the battle too.
That shit come with the grind type shit. Like I had to open people's eyes and show them that I'm really dedicated to this shit type shit. Like when I first started, I was posting shit every day, like new pieces of clothes every day type shit. Like I got like over 200 pieces. That's different brand, like different logos, different colorways type shit. Like I've been working since I started. Like I ain't gonna say I'm still working. Like I got my iPad. I be drawing here and there, making my own logos, making little ideas. I'm trying to do more like motivational type shit now. Like
so you know how to do graphic design?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's what I was going to school for. So I was really like into that shit. I still like learn from people, go on YouTube. Got homies that do that shit. I learn from them.
And you make the clothes yourself, huh?
Yeah. I got my own machines, everything. Like.
See, man, and that just goes to show, like, a lot of people are really doing this in a very, 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 very difficult manner. Like, it's not easy to, one, design your own, come up with a design, make the design, put the design, get the clothes, get the machine, put all, because first off, it's not as easy as you think to do the fucking e-press or whatever you have. If you got the vinyl shit, none of the shit is easy, especially if you're doing it on your own.
When I
none
first
of that
started,
shit is easy.
Before, when my dad died, he didn't leave me. Like, I was watching them do shit here and there, but I wasn't really into depth with the computer shit. And that's where I was fucked up at, because everybody, my family was like, make some clothes for the family to, like, for his funeral type shit, or to, like, represent him type shit. And I was like, fuck, I don't even know how to do that shit. Like, I don't even, like, he didn't show me. So I was really, like, stuck. I was crying and shit. I was, like, really fucked up mentally, like, fucked up. Like, my homies had to come pull up on me, had to smoke some shit real quick, had to calm me down. Like, I really, like, patience really is the key. I got Patient King tatted on my neck, because, like, that shit really stick with me. Like, patience is real key, because I got that shit in probably, like, 2 days later of it just really just sitting down, figuring that shit out. And ever since, I just blew up. Like, start making clothes.
When you lock in, you believe in yourself, you make the shit happen. And that's crazy, because the fact that you picked it up on your own is difficult as fuck, because that's shit people go to, like you said, people go to school for that shit. Man. So, like, to be able to be like, all right, I'm gonna figure this out in 2 fucking days, nigga. Like, I'm gonna figure out how to make this shit happen within the next 2 days. And do it. Sheesh. Shit, you should teach a class.
You can do anything you put your mind to. If you really want that shit, you can do it. Like, that's what I really stick to. If you really want it, you can grab it.
And that's real. And that's nothing but real. If there's any sacrifices that you have, are there any sacrifices that you have made in order to run your brand?
Sacrifices, not really.
No?
I try to keep everything to myself, like, make my own money type shit. Yeah, ain't no sacrifices. I have my homies invest in me and shit, like, even the homie was like, keep all the bread for yourself. Like, he invested in me and said, keep everything. Like, that's real love, like, type shit. Like, I really got people who really were fucking me.
I don't got that.
You got it, you just gotta find it.
Yeah, but
they're connected people, because that nigga, I met that nigga in high school type shit. Like, didn't even know that nigga hold my mouth most of my life. Like, I just met that nigga in high school type shit. And we really connected. Dorsey.
Okay. So you know all the niggas I know there for sure. Yeah. It's crazy to me though that, like, you don't hear that often. Like, you don't hear, oh yeah, a nigga said, fuck it, I'm gonna invest in my boy. Like, a nigga mentally was like, I'm gonna put some money into my boy, because not just cause I want it, it can also benefit me too. Like, if he make it, I put some money into it, I'm gonna easily make it too, and I'm supporting him. And it's out of love. To say to keep everything, that's love. That's for real love. And it's hard to find somebody who will support you as much as you support yourself. Because a lot of people just support you beneficially, like, or momentarily, or when, like I said, beneficially. When it's beneficial to them, they're gonna support you. When they like, oh, okay, you know what, I might be able to make something shake out this situation, it's easy for them to support you. When you don't see no light at the end of the tunnel and you still supporting somebody, that's real love. And a lot of people, that's what a lot of people need to be able to keep going and pushing when they taking independent routes and doing this and doing certain shit. Like, for example, with music, if somebody was to give me like some money and be like, hey bro, go get you this many hours in the studio, because I just feel like it's gonna pay off, like it's gonna work. I'd be like, damn, like, you believe in me? Like, I believe in, like, I
flabbergasted for
like this the shit I be saying to myself, man. And that's how you feel about me. Like, it's hard to find people like that. So you you already won damn near half the battle for real. So cool.
Still going through the battle, but learned a lot from it.
And but you got a good supporting cast to help you fight. And that's all that matters, to help you get through it all, for real. I was finna ask you something. When do y'all plan on dropping something for the podcast?
Shit, we was talking about that shit. We probably trying to do something for sure before the end of the year. before December, before that shit really 2023 in.
So what kind of topic do y'all plan on attacking?
Real life shit. Yeah. Like how we talking like life conversation, how people go through shit, how everything.
How people bounce back, they get through. I feel that.
It's called Smoke Something.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just gonna be smoking, just get it faded. Just talk about everything.
And you got like a little setup for in there and everything already?
Yeah, it's gonna be my homie crib.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's what's up. I can't wait to see that happen. Make sure y'all follow the Smoke Something podcast on Instagram because there is a page for that.
Yep. YouTube page coming soon.
YouTube page coming soon. Make sure y'all subscribe to that as well. When it comes to making the podcast and the thought process, what do you find may be the most difficult thing for you?
So really the topics.
Yeah.
Topics and like really the guests who really want to be serious about that shit and actually pull up to actually talk about real shit.
Yeah. And
not just fuck around, just come here to smoke type shit.
And laugh.
Yeah. Like we really want to talk and really put that shit out. Because a lot of people really can relate about that shit and really learn. And we can really help somebody just by that one video type shit.
Talking about how you got through it. And they probably would have never even thought that I could do that too. You feel me? I could probably make a way for myself if I think like that too for a little bit. So that's definitely something I would like to do.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you knew me, like how they try to say I was quiet, like, I'm still quiet. If you knew me, I was always a quiet person to myself. I'm a Scorpio, so really, I really like to just stay quiet and watch my surroundings.
Right.
And really just, how you say that? Really just feel the vibes out.
Yeah.
And see who people is, because I don't fuck with fake. Like, everything about me is just, like, is real. Like, I don't do none of that fake shit. Like, if I feel like you killing my vibe or feel like you on some negative shit and not trying to be positive about shit, I'm gonna just separate myself, like walk away type shit. Like, I don't need to waste my energy on that person or waste my breath. That's why I be like, just quiet. Like,
I feel you. I feel that. What's the bigger picture or the end goal for Macfreshly?
Like I said, I wanted a corporation. I wanted my end goal is to have that shit, big ass building, have multiple stores, I want my name everywhere.
Yeah. I like
everywhere. Around the world. Yeah. I want people to know about Macfreshly. People, when I tell people about Macfreshly, be like, oh, that shit click. That shit got a nice ring to it. Like, yeah, I want that shit to ring through everybody here.
Yeah, I respect that. And then with the photography, how far do you feel you could take that?
See, with that, I'm trying to travel. I'm trying to really be in magazines type shit. Like, when you scroll through the shit or be on some Instagram shit or like you want to see my shit on the fucking top page. On the explore page, like,
I feel that.
I'm trying to be a known photographer. But not even just that, I'm trying to be a known photographer with my clothing brand. Like, I want both of them to come up same timing. Or even not the same timing, like one after another, like not too far apart type shit. That's why I'm taking both of them like slow step at a time, like really trying to figure the business parts out about both of the shit. So there's money to be made for it.
It's on the flow. What should we be on the lookout for next from the brand?
Shit. I'm working on something right now. Might be a little Halloween drop. It might be some randomized drop. I don't know. For me, it's gonna be hard though. The quality gonna be good. For me, I ain't just gonna put out no bullshit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What do you feel makes Macfreshly different from other brands?
I feel like my brand kind of stand out from a lot of people's brands because I got this a lot. Like, my colorways go different from other people's shits. Like, I put a lot of colorways together, like some shit that you not even think about.
Right.
And they be like, damn, that shit look fly. And like, you gotta buy some shoes for that shit too. Like, my designs and shit, really, I try to make my designs meaningful. Not no like random shit. Like, they gotta have a meaning to that shit. Like, and I wanna like have a slogan with that shit. Like, I have a design. It's called Feeling Freshly, then Leap. It's an MF that I got on my chain. This the main logo, the first logo. Yeah. Feel me? Got a MF with the frog hanging on it.
And that's some hard shit. I don't want that. Ain't true about that. But is there anyone you want to work with? It could be like big names, citywide, photography, collab, podcast wise.
The nigga who fucking really inspired me was Nick.
You know what? I feel the same way because I started making music because of Nick. And I'm like, damn, I'll never get a feature from bro.
Man. But the second person, shit, really, I don't even really look up to, like, I do. Like, all my homies that got clothing brands. All my homies that got clothing brands, shit, I just really go off the inspiration off of them. Like, I be like, I really show love. Like, that shit really hard. Like, that really opened my eyes to really do some shit different. Yeah. Some shit that's probably gonna be, it could be a little similar, but it's gonna mean something. It's gonna stand out differently from his shit.
You know? So you ain't got no brands you wanna work with? No?
What I always say, I wanna get sponsored by Nike. Cause that's the main shit I be wearing too, is Nike and my brand. So I feel like, yeah, Nike
Macfresh collab.
Yeah. And I feel like it would click.
Just freshly.
Yeah.
Just freshly? That'd be hard.
Just do it freshly.
Yeah. That'd be some hard shit, I ain't gonna lie. Well, that was the last question of this episode of the podcast, man. I appreciate you coming on here and taking the time and chopping it up with me and letting the people know about Macfreshly and letting them know, what you go through to get to where you are right now and where you are with the brand. And it's definitely an inspiring thing that you're keeping it going. So that's lovely to see. And I'm glad that you got the right people supporting you, and I'm happy to be able to be in a position to support you as well, and being able to get to know more about you and more about the brand more than I already know, more than I already did know. I didn't even know much at all. So this was actually a very opening experience for me, because I'm learning so much about you right now, and it make your brand easy to support because of what it stands for and what you're trying to do with it. Is like, who wouldn't want to support some shit like that? You feel me? You really trying to get to it, and that's all anybody really want from anybody. You feel me? Is just the want to. So again, thank you for the time coming on here. Can't wait to see the podcast, see how that come out. Can't wait to see more from the brand. Can't wait to see the Halloween drop. I'm gonna try to get some of that leap, feeling freshly than leap, because that's hot.
It's a master of conversation
On the back, huh?
Yeah, that's what
God.
MAC stand for.
Mac. No. Master of conversation. Ooh. See, you that was fly. That was fly as a motherfucker. But that was fly as a motherfucker. I never would have guessed that. That's actually smooth as fuck. So the Mac and Macfreshly stand
Master of conversation.
That's player. Y'all make sure y'all shop Macfreshly, man. Follow him on Instagram at Macfreshly. Follow his photography page at Freshly Flicks.
Yeah.
Freshly Flicks. And follow the podcast page at Smoke Something Podcast. Make sure y'all streaming FTL out now on all platforms. New music coming soon. Studio vlog coming soon, because I know y'all said y'all wanted one of those. And other than that, man, keep getting it off your chest, man. We out.
That pussy fucking with my confidence. I used to wanna fuck him all, now it's obvious. It's only you, the way you do it, got you poppin' shit. Look in your eyes when we fucking, know you like it thick. Girl, I can't lie, you too exclusive, I can't publish this. You ain't no sneaky link, I show you who I'm rockin' with. It's me and you against the world, fuck all the politics. Hit front and back and then I let you get on top of it, yeah. I noticed you across the room, I'm thinking what it do. I look away, you look at me, we playing peekaboo. Ain't never